Is Dajjal a jinn? Is Dajjal the son of Iblis, of Shaitan? That's the question that came from Jordan. And when we go to a subject in Islam like this, where do we look for the answer? The answer is always to be found, first of all, in the Book of Allah. You don't go to the Hadith first, do you? No, you go first to the Quran. Does the Quran make mention of Dajjal by name? No, it does not. No, it does not. Does that mean that there's nothing in the Quran on Dajjal? Of course not. That's wrong. Because there are two kinds of verses in the Quran, don't forget that. There are the ayat muhkamat, or the verses of the plain and clear, and in these verses you find the name, Dajjal. But if it's not there in the ayat muhkamat, then there are also other verses of the Quran called ayat mutashabihat, which are verses which have to be interpreted. So you will not find the name Dajjal there, but you'll have to interpret to be able to recognize that this verse is dealing with Dajjal. Are there such verses in the Quran? Yes, there are.
Between Dajjal and Shaitan. Shaitan, Mr. Shaitan is Iblis. Iblis. Iblis is a jinn. وَكَانَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ, says Surah Al-Kahf. Allah did not create Iblis as an evil being. No. Allah gave to the jinn the capacity for a free choice. He gave them a self-directed will or free will, so they could make a free choice. If you make a choice and you obey Allah, you go to heaven. If you make a choice and you disobey Allah, you go to hell. And so Iblis made the choice to disobey, and he going to hell. Dajjal is not like that. Dajjal is not going to heaven and he's not going to hell. No. Dajjal has no free choice. He has no self-directed will, no free will. He's not a human being. He will appear as a human being, but he's not a human being. He's not a jinn. He's not an angel, because angels commit no evil. He cannot be a human being and he cannot be a jinn, because he does not have any free will to make a choice to obey or disobey. Rather, Allah created him as a special creation, and Allah programmed him to fulfill a certain mission. So there's a world of a difference between Dajjal and Shaitan. Shaitan has become an evil being on the basis of his own choice.
So what does the Quran say? It is Surah As-Sad. And in Surah As-Sad, Allah speaks about a fitna that He caused Sulaiman alayhi salam to experience, the Prophet Solomon. And when Sulaiman alayhi salam experienced this fitna, he saw something. And it is clear that what he saw, he did in a vision, a ru'ya. He saw something, and when he saw it, he was terrified. It caused him great concern and grief and so on. So it was a fitna. And then he responded with a dua to Allah. Now let's go to that verse. Why did he make this dua? What is that jasad that he saw on his throne? Number one, if you want to know what is a jasad, you got to go to the Quran. Yes. And in the Quran we recall that when Nabi Musa alayhi salam took Banu Israel across the Red Sea. You remember? وَإِذْ فَرَقْنَا بِكُمُ الْبَحْرِ. So in Sinai, Allah ordered Moshe alayhi salam to go up the mountain to meet with him. And he left Harun alayhi salam, his brother, in charge of Banu Israel. And while he was up there in the mountain, someone named the Samiri hijacked the Israelite people and rendered Harun alayhi salam helpless, like a coup d'etat. And he ordered the Israelites to hand over their gold to him. And like a goldsmith, he melted the gold. And then he made, like an engineer, he melted the gold and made a calf, a golden calf. And that golden calf was a jasad. It's referred to in the Quran as a jasad, meaning it's just a hollow piece of gold. That's all. It's a body. It has no ruh in it, which gives it life. No. It has no nafs in it, which gives it a self, an identity. No. So in the case of that gold which was melted, that calf is a jasad. A jasad being a body without a soul, is not a living calf, no, and without a nafs. Does the calf have a nafs? No. A nafs is your identity, your capacity to say I, your ability to be able to choose and make a choice. Only angels have a nafs, because an angel could say, I am Jibreel and you are the messenger of Allah. So an angel has a nafs. A jinn, yes, a jinn has a nafs. Angels are created from light, and jinn are created from smokeless fire, jinn. And a jinn can say, Ana khayrun minhu, I am better than him. I am better than him. Khalaqtani min nar wa khalaqtahu min teen. You created me from fire and you created him from clay. Hence I am superior to him. So a jinn can say I. A jinn has a nafs. He has a personal identity. A jinn can also choose, but an angel cannot. وَيَفْعَلُونَ مَا يُؤْمَرُونَ. The angels have to do whatever Allah orders them to do. They have no choice. But a jinn can disobey. And this is what he did. Allah asked him, why did you not obey me when I ordered you to bow down and prostrate before Adam alayhi salam? Why did you disobey? So a jinn has a nafs. A human being can say, this is my hands, this is my hands, these are my hands, sorry. So the human being has a nafs, he has a personal identity. A human being can also make a choice. Al-haqqu min rabbikum faman sha'a falyu'min wa man sha'a falyakfur. Has a nafs, but animals don't have a nafs. No. The calf does not have a nafs, but they do have a ruh, which gives them life. And when that ruh is removed, they die. The animals die. So this jasad that the Samiri forged from gold is just a body without a soul, without a ruh. So what is that jasad on the throne of Sulaiman alayhi salam? Meaning someone who appears as a human being, but it's only a body. If you want to sit on the throne, you have to be a human being. And the purpose of your sitting on the throne is because you clearly intend to rule over the holy state of Israel. we see that Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam understood that that Jasad, who is sitting on his throne, wants to rule over his state, Holy Israel. That's right. So that Jasad has to be in a human form, a human being, not a horse, not a calf or a cow, no. So the Jasad that he saw would be a human body, but without a ruh, and a human body without a nafs, without a self. This Jasad wants to rule over the holy state of Israel. How do we know that? Why? Because as soon as Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam saw what he saw, immediately he made this dua. So you have to be able to connect the dots. When you connect the dots, then you're able to very easily recognize, in which first of all he asked Allah for forgiveness, and then he asked Allah to grant him a kingdom or a state which can belong to none after him, hence cannot belong to the Jasad, cannot belong to the Jasad. That is why he made the dua. So who is that Jasad? Answer, the Jasad who he saw sitting on his throne has to be someone who in Akhirul Zaman would want to inherit the holy state of Israel, would want to rule over holy Israel. Who can it be? Had to be Dajjal. Dajjal wants to rule over holy Israel, so that sitting in Jerusalem on the throne of Nabi Dawood and Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam, and because Sulaiman alayhi salam did not want that to happen, no, he cannot succeed in that effort of his, he made a dua to Allah to grant him his state which none can inherit after him, so that state will end. If Dajjal is a Jasad, as the Quran is directing us in this verse of Surah As-Sad, a Jasad cannot be a jinn. Why? A jinn has a ruh. Allah breathed it into the human beings, Allah breathed it into the jinn, Allah breathed it into the angels. They have ruh. That's how they have life. And in addition to that, a jinn has a nafs. A jinn has a nafs. And so Allah has given to the jinn, through his nafs, the capacity to choose, a self-directed will. Yes. So a jinn can choose. And if the jinn chooses the path of faith, then the jinn would be Muslim. And if the jinn chooses the path of rejection of faith, then the jinn would be a shaitan. And the plural of shaitan is shayateen. Dajjal cannot be a jinn because he's just a Jasad. So then how does he speak? How does he act? How does he move? How does he pursue his mission of impersonation of the true Messiah? Answer, he does it because he's externally programmed. Today there's a term called artificial intelligence, where you can externally program a robot, for example, to behave in a certain way. Artificial intelligence. So Allah created Dajjal, and Allah programmed Dajjal. And whatever Dajjal does, all his actions, all his conduct, everything that he speaks, he does so not on his own accord, because he does not have any ruh, he does not have any nafs. No. Everything he does he does on the basis of programming, divine programming. So, excuse me, Jordan, no, Dajjal is not a jinn. And Dajjal is not the son of Iblis. I hope that I have settled the issue. Since Dajjal is only a jasad, will Allah judge a jasad on Judgment Day? Huh? No. The only way you will stand before Allah for judgment on Judgment Day, to be judged, is if you have a nafs, a self, and with that self you have freedom to choose, a self-directed will. Then, when you choose to act in this way or in that way, you'll have responsibility for your action. Then it's called, in ethical language, it's called conduct. So, Dajjal does not have conduct. No. Dajjal cannot choose between truth and falsehood and decide to choose falsehood instead of truth. No. Dajjal does not have a self-directed will. A jasad does not have that. No. Dajjal is just a body without a soul and without a self. And I've been saying for how many, 15 years now, that Dajjal will not be tried by Allah on Judgment Day, for judgment, no. And sent to Jannah or Jahannam, no, 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 no. When Nabi Isa alayhi salam kills Dajjal, as we are told in the hadith he would be killed, then that will be the end of Dajjal. That's the end of Dajjal. Nothing more you'll hear about him. He will pass into non-existence.